Behind me, I have Michelangelo and Bernini and Canova, all these sculptors saying, yeah, well, now you got these cool new tools. Let's see if you can add something to it. It was very important to me, now that I've reached this height or this level as an artist, that I add to that language. And now I was able to realize that if I put eyelashes in, it created more of a humanistic, more real, more alive sculpture. It's always a constant compromise. I have certain ideas that I want the sculpture to be. I have certain ambitions, and the marble being a stone is only going to grant me so many wishes. So it's a constant compromise, how much I want, how much the marble is willing to give me, and sometimes we have to meet in the middle. I'm trying to create shadows. Shadows create line, then line creates form. So there's this language that I'm dealing with on how to create shadows to make certain things accentuate. Even per se here on her lips, there's a very tiny little ridge that I carved in there. Well, that creates a little tiny shadow line, which again accentuates the lips to separate them from the front part of the face. Great art goes in big spans of time. It was like how the Egyptians were there, and then it took almost 1,000 years before the Greeks got to it, and then it took another 1,000 years until the Romans got to it, and then unfortunately in between all that time they lose and forget how to make a lot of things. Before the Romans and the Renaissance was the big unfortunate time, was the Gothic time, where religion suppressed too much of the individual freedom of the mind until the Renaissance came out, and then that's where the artists started to open up again, and that's where Michelangelo came out. And then shortly, another 100 years after him or so, came Bernini, who then took it to another level, and then it died back again, and then it really came back in the neoclassics, which was about 1820s, 1850s. So we're talking, since the last great marble sculptors, it's been almost 200 years. There hasn't been a significant stone sculptor even into the last century. When you look at Henry Moore's work or Rodin's work, they weren't significant when you really compare them to the great artists of the Renaissance or the neoclassics or before them. What I've tried to do in this sculpture is just really capture an identity of what the American woman is at this time of our life, at the turn of the 21st century. So 500 years from now, people can say, oh man, this is what the American people look like. My greatest goal is, one, not only to create a great piece of art, but to inspire a nation to search out their self-identity, to try and create more great art, because I feel that the last century was a great vacuum in art, and it didn't really satisfy the American public for art. I'm trying to create art with the maximum impact, the maximum amount of hard work and effort, because this is a rock. I've actually carved a rock to look like a human being here, and people appreciate that. People know when you say a marble sculpture, that it came from a rock. And if anybody ever put their thumbnail or a knife into a rock, they would really truly appreciate what I've done in this stone. I think the greatest reward for any of this art is to inspire other artists, to inspire people that aren't even artists, to inspire the little kids to look at it and say, wow, that's a cool piece of art. Maybe I can do that one day.